Being a father in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is a very weird situation because throughout all of the parts, the father figures of the series have either been god-awful or they were dealt a bad hand. There's also a very high fatality rate when it comes to being a father in JoJo, but one dad so far has managed to maintain his relevancy, not be evil, and avoid dying, so far. That's Norisuke Higashikata IV, with his stand, King Nothing. Norisuke Higashikata IV, or should I say Josuke Higashikata, is one of the main supporting cast for Part 5 JoJolion, while also being the head father figure of the Higashikata household. If we want to understand his role in the story, and possibly his future in JoJolion, we should first understand the meaning behind his name. So Norisuke Higashikata, when broken down, means constitutional aid, or more literally, the composition or natural makeup of helping, which makes sense given that his birth name is also Josuke Higashikata, which also means helping or always willing to help. This fits Norisuke as a character because of all the characters in JoJolion, Norisuke is the one used to progress the plot in helpful ways. First, by taking Josuke into his home. Then you have Norisuke introducing Josuke to Joben, Norisuke telling Josuke about Kira's plans, Norisuke helping Josuke against the I Am a Rock stand user, and then of course Norisuke helping Josuke track down both the Rokakaka and introducing him to the Plan Appraiser. He is the most helpful supporting character in all of JoJolion. He is also the alternate world equivalent to Josuke Higashikata from Part 4. Now, he isn't a direct reincarnation much like Diego and Johnny were, but more of a twist of the original Josuke. First point of reference being his design. Both Josuke and Norisuke have very outlandish hairstyles. They also both wear heart-based accessories. They also both possess a very scary, serious nature that they hide with their overall upbeat and kind personality. Though Norisuke isn't a complete embodiment of Josuke, because Gappy is also an embodiment of a piece of him, but we'll get into that later. Now, Norisuke during the events of JoJolion has two major motivations, the first being to keep the Higashikata fruit parlor going as strong as possible with high quality fruit. And then of course you have, fitting his name, Norisuke's desperate attempt to cure his family's disease. Because you see, he was originally planning to confront Yoshikage Kira on his approach to curing his mother, as Holly Joestar Kira was suffering from a very similar illness to the Higashikata family. But since Kira passed away, he was unable to do so. Norisuke has shown a strong desire to protect his family, both by giving information to Demo about Josuke to protect his family, and then begging Josuke for forgiveness when he couldn't actually protect him. And then of course, Norisuke seems to be planning to offer himself up as a sacrifice to save Tsurugi when the time comes and his rock disease begins to affect him. Which of course, the solution to both of Norisuke's problems comes to him in the form of Josuke telling Norisuke that there is a branch located on the Higashikata estate that can grow a Rokakaka. This magic fruit seems to be able to cure both the rock disease, and if Norisuke can help find it, maybe help save his family. So in order to hopefully help, Norisuke tells his surrogate son information not even his firstborn son knows, and that is the location of the Plan Appraiser, which is a sign of absolute trust to Josuke. Though this isn't the first time that Norisuke has demonstrated his trust towards Josuke, the actual first demonstration of trust was when he showed and explained his stand, King Nothing. King Nothing is a powerful long-range stand with a tall humanoid appearance. It is comprised of many jigsaw puzzle pieces, which it can break off of Norisuke or itself to become multiple separate puzzle pieces. It also has a very jester-esque design, with a cap and bell hat for its head design, and its neck has a very weird headdress. Not to mention the balls adorned over Norisuke and King Nothing's design resemble that of juggling balls. Now this is normally where I would tell you the stats of the stand, but King Nothing lacks any stats at all. All we know about it is that Norisuke claims that it cannot battle and that its range is basically limitless. So, I guess we move on to abilities then? So ability-wise, King Nothing has two major abilities, the first being Jigsaw Anatomy. This ability allows Norisuke to deconstruct King Nothing into multiple puzzle pieces and reassemble him in another location. This allows Norisuke to open locked doors from the other side or sneak his stand into areas which it couldn't fit otherwise. The second ability, and the main ability of King Nothing, is the Jigsaw Scent Tracking. This ability allows King Nothing not only to track anyone and anything based on their scent, but also allows Norisuke to reconstruct the tracked object as well, with the smell becoming a physical thing. The function of the ability is actually very similar to Moody Blues, in which when Norisuke is tracking a person, King Nothing changes shape to that person and begins to walk where that person is. Though it is also able to track objects the same way, when it sniffs out Joben's handkerchief and makes the shape of the Rokakaka, which is the scent found on the handkerchief. The one downside to King Nothing's ability is that it does not inform Norisuke when the scent is found, and you have to rely on the fact that you're paying attention enough to notice that its ability is worked at all. Now, the reason behind the name King Nothing is actually very strange, as the themes of the song King Nothing doesn't really fit both Norisuke or King Nothing, though that's only if we read it as the song is directed at Norisuke or King Nothing. But it fits if we view the song as Norisuke's perspective, because the song King Nothing is about a person who amasses as much wealth as possible, and when they finally get everything they wanted, they realize that they are a king of nothing, and the money that they work so hard for is worthless in the end. This is because Norisuke isn't a greedy person. In fact, he's the very opposite of that. He values quality over anything else. He hands out money to his kids whenever they're in need, and he uses any of his remaining money to ensure that the product being sold at the fruit parlor is top quality. He cares so much so about the quality of his fruit that when the fruit parlor begins to take hits financially, Norisuke doesn't start lowering the quality standards, he sticks to his guns, and he's a man who always sticks to tradition, even when it harms him. Because as he views it, if he were to break from this tradition in order to obtain wealth, he would indeed become a king of nothing himself. Though, then again, what type of king is a joker? I say this because one of the most interesting themes I've noticed about Norisuke is actually based on the gesture design I mentioned earlier. You see, in my Tsurugi video I mentioned that all of the Higashikata family are based on playing cards, and along with that I mentioned that the cards that helped Tsurugi hinted that Josuke was the Joker of the Higashikata family deck of cards. I also feel that Norisuke fits this role as well. Now, a lot of people assume that Norisuke would be the king of the family, and that's a pretty fair assumption, but he could also be the Joker or the Fool. And not to mention that his motivations and determination match those of the Fool Taro, but also they match the pre-established Fool that is Josuke. Because as you see, they're both named Josuke, they both have goals to acquire the Rokakaka fruit in order to cure a sick family member. Norisuke and Josuke both have deadly tempers when it comes to people who harmed their loved ones. They both possess stands that somewhat resemble a jester in a way. They both are characters that possess symbols from the original Josuke on them, the anchor on Josuke Soft and Wet, and the heart belt on Norisuke. It is also hinted at the fact that Norisuke and Josuke have very similar personalities very early on when Norisuke gives Josuke the Yankee test, which a Yankee is an old term for a delinquent youth, much like the youth that Josuke from Diamond Is Not Crash was based off of. And when Josuke is identified as a Yankee, this establishes Gappy as this part's Josuke. But then Norisuke surprises him by revealing that he is also what would be classified as a Yankee, giving the two instantly a personal connection from the get-go. And then lastly, they both actually represent the Fool's approach to the future, which in order to succeed, one must find new answers either by going out and finding it or creating a new method, because relying on old practices will only result in everything staying the same. Both Norisuke and Josuke need the new Rokakaka. They need it to save someone they love, and they're both working towards finding it in their own special way, because the Rokakaka in any other hands would just result in another King Nothing. Now, if you enjoyed this video and like to help support more videos like it in the future, I have a Patreon over at patreon.com/MetinotTheBadGuy. And this It Just Works was actually the winner of the January It Just Works poll. And if you want to vote for the next It Just Works episode in February, then please head on over and support at least $3 or more, and you'll be able to vote in the February poll. Also, if you want to become a King Nothing yourself, but also want to enjoy the ride, head on over to Funimation.com/show/Shimonetta, boring world of the concept of dirty jokes doesn't exist. Buy yourself a copy of Shimonetta, and you'll be King Nothing, but you'll also have, like, excellent dick jokes. So, off to Never Never Land.